Happy Wednesday, Humboldt County. Today, a very special edition of the Wednesday Newscast. We're joined by former KHBT News and Sports Director Alex Solsma. So, this is KHBT News. I'm Nathan Bloechl. All right, we're joined right now by Alex Solsma, and I feel like I'm basking in the presence of greatness here. Former Sports and News Director here at KHBT, and really a local town legend. And Alex, thanks for coming in today. It's a pleasure to finally meet you and get a face to the name.
Hey, great to be here, Nathan. I've never been called that before, a local legend, but I appreciate it. I think that's the best introduction I've ever had before, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, so Alex left KHBT a couple of years back, and he took his position at WHBY in Appleton. And how'd you like that, Alex?
It was a fantastic experience. I guess for our listeners who might not know, I was here for 3.5 years from 2011, May of that year, to January of 2015, and loved Humboldt, loved North Central Iowa, and really enjoyed the community in the area. And I got back into town earlier this week and visited some old friends and reignited some of those relationships, so it was wonderful to be back. But I was up in East Central Wisconsin for about 1.5 years, working, as you said, at WHBY, doing some sports up there, and I loved the experience. It was a different area of the country to be in. Even though it's about 6.5, 7 hours from here, culturally it's a lot different, as you know, being from Green Bay. So I really enjoyed getting to learn all of that, meeting some of the people up there, and covering some of the sporting events up there. As you know, Packers rule the land.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's April, May, June, or if you're in the thick of the fall. I mean, it is Packers all the time. But I really enjoyed that, getting to see an NFL team up close, covering the practices, covering some of the games, talking to some of the players. It was a great experience, and especially at the professional level. I had done some experience in college back when I was at the University of Iowa, but seeing how an NFL franchise operates on a day-to-day basis and getting to talk to some of those athletes was pretty special, especially when they were having a good year, not by their high standards.
No.
Because it wasn't a Super Bowl run, but it was a
Right.
playoff run, a run where they beat some really good teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Seattle Seahawks, things like that, and had some dramatic finishes in some of those games.
A couple of Hail Marys, yeah.
Absolutely. So that was a lot of fun to do.
Awesome. And when you come back to Humboldt, what really strikes you as the thing that you miss most about the town, the community, and really being back here at the station?
I think the relationships with the people. I've just loved getting to know people during the time I was here. So I probably won't be able to see everybody that I'd like to see while I'm back, but this is a special place. It's a very giving community, and I think you've probably already noticed that, and you'll come to notice that whenever there's somebody in need or there's some type of cause, it seems like the community always rallies around that, and everybody's very friendly, whether you're at the grocery store or whether you're walking down the street or at a ball game. It seems like people are always willing to come up to you and make you feel welcome and chat with you. So I just kind of miss those day-to-day experiences, getting to know people on a personal level and getting to just have those conversations with them.
We're here with Alex Solsma, former Sports and News Director here at KHBT, and Alex is moving on to a new part of his professional life. Alex, you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is something a couple of years ago I never thought I'd ever do, but I've been accepted as a seminarian for the Diocese of Sioux City. So obviously Humboldt is in that diocese. It covers northwest Iowa. I've always been active, volunteering, and with the parishes, both when I was here in Humboldt at St. Mary's, and I also did a little work down at Fort Dodge at Holy Trinity down there in Webster County, and also when I got to Appleton into Wisconsin at St. Pius, the 10th parish there, and some other work with the Diocese of Green Bay. And so I've always been interested in there. For me, it was a great way to meet people when I came here, getting into that parish network with the Knights of Columbus and the other groups that volunteer throughout the community. And then also that translated to when I was up in Wisconsin. And as I got more immersed in parish life, going to Mass, frequenting the sacraments, and then also volunteering in the community and just engaging in some of the charitable work, I had this maybe inner desire to maybe discern the priesthood, getting to know Father Jim Tigas here and getting to know Father Shane Demon, who was in Fort Dodge at the time, as well as Father Frank Lona. They were pretty influential for me. And so it was kind of in the back of my mind, but I didn't know if that was something I wanted to do because I love doing radio and I obviously want to get married and have kids and all that stuff. The priesthood, that's not really an option. You have to live celibately. And so I never really strongly considered it, but it wasn't kind of in the back of my mind. But like I said, as long as I kept getting immersed in parish life, that inner desire to give it a shot kind of increased. And then I got to, or Father Shane Demon, who was in Fort Dodge, now is the vocations director for our diocese. So having that relationship, I think, helped. And then as I moved to Wisconsin and got involved in the parishes up there, they have a very active young adult ministry, and they're very active also in charitable work in their community, getting to go to things like perpetual adoration. We had a chapel there. So they had daily masses at night, a lot of different young adult activities, like I mentioned. So once I was up there too, the desire kept increasing, and so I decided to give it a shot. I'm going to be enrolling in Kenrick Seminary this fall, which is in St. Louis. It's a 6-year program. I am sponsored by the Diocese of Sioux City, so if I were to get ordained 6 years from now, I would serve in Northwest Iowa. So I maybe could be back in Humboldt.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Maybe could be in Sioux City. You never know what can happen, but the thing is, I guess it's kind of just discerning whether this is God's will for me or not. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but I do think, the church offers something of value to society, especially in this day and age. So I do want to at least kind of discern this possibility. If a year or two I want to get back in the radio, that's always an option. There's no obligation to stay. They just want people who can want to consider the lifestyle to at least think about it in that type of environment. So that environment will have the resources necessary to do that. And then also we'll see where I am a couple years from now. Maybe 6 years from now I'll be a priest. Maybe a couple years from now I'll get back in the radio. I have no idea, but I'm kind of looking forward to the adventure,
right.
So we'll see what happens. It was tough to leave the opportunity up in Wisconsin because, as we talked about, we got to cover a lot of cool events like Packer games. We had the Milwaukee Brewers, one of their single-A affiliates, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. They play at Fox City Stadium in Appleton. I got to cover like the PGA Championship and stuff like that. That was at Whistling Straits, which is on Lake Michigan, about an hour or so from Appleton. So getting to leave that environment will be tough, but I am excited about this new adventure ahead.
Sure, and then lastly, couple of words of advice for the new guy, passing of the torch ceremony right here on KHBT.
Nathan, earlier this week I enjoyed hearing your broadcast of the baseball game up in Algona. That was a dramatic comeback. I could just sense the excitement as I was in my car listening to that 7th inning when the Wildcats made a triumphant comeback. That was pretty awesome. So just keep continuing to work hard. That's what you're doing. Get to know people in the community and do your homework when it comes to the sports games, which it sounds like you're doing. You have a lot of passion for it. So I think first and foremost that's important because, as you know, there's a lot of long hours in radio sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You're working nights, you're working early mornings, so just continue to have that passion and work hard. That's what I would say, and develop and cultivate those relationships in the community. I think that would be my advice, and it sounds like you're doing that already. I'm excited to see what you do ahead, and it's awesome that you're from Green Bay.
Yeah.
So I feel like I know a little bit about your old stomping grounds now. So
yeah, it's an awesome town. I'm glad you enjoyed your time there. I mean, it's a one-of-a-kind town, especially on game day on Sundays. It's pretty crazy there.
It is. And so you were at Luther in Decorah, Iowa. So what attracted you to Luther to get you into this great state of Iowa from Wisconsin?
Well, it's another Packer connection. Growing up, a close neighbor of mine was the director of research and development in Green Bay for the Packers, Mike Ayers, and his son actually was the assistant head coach at Luther. Brian Ayers, who's an offensive coordinator now, he works for the Seahawks. So there's a little connection from the high school that I went to school for, and then I met Mike. Then I met Brian, and he told me to come down to Luther for a visit. When I came down to Decorah, loved the community, loved the area, and then just loved the academics of the school and decided to try it out. And lo and behold, 4 years later, I was a 4-year player there for at Luther, and got a great education, and now I'm here in Humboldt. So the Iowa roots are growing deep inside of me.
And you got a little radio time there too.
Yeah, I did. I broadcasted a bunch of games over at Luther from my freshman year on. Got to call some super regional, Division III super regionals for softball and baseball, some basketball tournaments, NCAA basketball tournaments, and then couldn't get into football obviously with playing it. But so this will be my first year broadcasting football this fall, so I'm a little nervous.
Well, I tell you what, there's a great football community here.
Right.
Greg Thomas is the head coach, and just a slew of wonderful assistant coaches. So you'll enjoy the falls here at Mason Mock Field. It's a special time of year. I miss those fall Fridays calling Humboldt football, so you'll enjoy it this fall.
Well, I'm excited. So yeah, can't come here any quicker. I'm obviously a big football guy, so. I mean, the baseball and softball teams have had a great season as well, so can't take away from them. They've been super enjoyable to watch. Really awesome way to kick off my time in Humboldt. A couple of conference championship teams playing every night, so that's been fun.
Absolutely, and I still follow the Wildcat Athletics and the Humboldt News. I have the KHBT app on my phone, so I'm always
diehard. You're diehard.
Yeah, I'm still following along. Sometimes in my car, I turn it on, see what's going on. I'm following the Bolt on Twitter and on Facebook, so I'm still keeping tabs on what's going on at Humboldt. It's been great to be back the last day or so.
All right. Well, thanks for your time today, Alex. It's always a pleasure catching up with you, and we'll stay in contact through the years. I look forward to seeing what you do, and you've been a great resource for me since I've gotten to Humboldt.
Hey, thanks, Nathan. Keep up the good work.